Welcome back to Football. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a new Vapor football cleat that Nike just released midway through the football season. Now, if this cleat silhouette looks familiar, it should, because it's a Nike Vapor Edge 360 VC football cleat. Now, that VC stands for Vapor Carbon. It's a nod throwback to the Vapor Carbon 2014 cleats, which are some of NFL's and football players' favorite cleats. Now, in this video, we'll be discussing, is this cleat just another colorway of the 360 VCs that came out over a year ago, or are there actually some differences that warrant the $10 price increase? These cleats came out over a year ago and they retail for $150. That's above the Vapor Speed cleats for $110. That's above the Vapor Pros for $120, but it still is below the Vapor Elites. It's priced comparable to the Jordan Vapor cleats that came out. So we're gonna find out. I did a full review on this video and where it stands and how I feel about it, but we're gonna compare it to this, which retails for $160. How much different, better, or worse is this cleat? So we're gonna take a look and break it down. Something that you easily notice about this cleat is how vibrant and bright it is. Even this is lights, it's reflecting off my camera. This color on camera does not do it justice. It is a super bright cleat. It's that Volt colorway that Nike has had for a long time. If you look about a decade back, Nike was really heavy on the Volt, and I like that they're coming back out with it. I think it's, you know, we've seen more flavorful cleats, we've seen more styled sneakers, and I like what Nike is doing in the football line. When I saw these release, it's definitely something that I had to check out. Now, there's a couple key differences that I noticed right away in the pictures on this cleat if you look at the Nike app. One is you look at this 3D version of the actual swoosh on the upper of the cleat. Comparing that to the original version, you can see how different it is. This is actually an overlay. It just sits on there, where this is actually sewn on. So you get some higher quality here. Now, what you don't see in the pictures on the app is all of this unfinished. This is part of the design. It's not a mistake. I do think it looks better without it, like in the pictures in the app, but you do have this, and one of my concerns is the durability when you're playing with this, you know, in grass in a football game, how that's going to end up. So right off the bat, I think this is more of a 7s cleat, more of a styled flag football cleat. Adidas has come out with a lot of designs in the past that I've said I think it's more for 7-on-7 flag football. I don't know if I'd actually use these in a game. I think about how much grass, real grass, is actually going to mess this up. And so this is, again, a cleat that I think is going to be better used on turf. The upper of the cleat is going to be a little different as well. This material here they call a synthetic leather, and to be honest, they call this a synthetic leather as well. They are a little bit different. It may be hard to tell. I'll try to do close-ups of this so you can actually maybe see the difference. I do think this feels a little bit better. I don't know if it performs better at all. It's not something that I felt when I was testing it out. You're still going to have the same number of eyelets, which is less eyelets than you have on the original Vapor Carbon 2014. The original Vapor Carbon 2014 cleats had great lockdown. That's not something that I felt in this cleat. So let's talk about the sizing. Now, these cleats are a size 12. This is my normal size in sneakers and just about every cleat, including Nike cleats. In the Vapor Carbon VCs, I wear an 11.5, and now I had to go down to 11.5 because I had a lot of, and this is with the original 2014s as well, had a lot of heel slippage, and really the sides, and I'll show this with a close-up, bent out when you put pressure on the footbed, and that's not something that you want to happen. That shows a lot of heel slippage. It doesn't have stability, and really you're just not going to feel or be as fast. So I go down to an 11.5 to kind of mitigate that. But what that does is the cleat does not fit how it's supposed to fit, right? I feel a lot of bunching. It feels tight in the toes. It feels thin on the midfoot, but it is still a tighter fit and fits me much better with 11.5 than a 12. So we're going to take a look at, you can see just how much this cleat flexes, and so it's still an odd fitting cleat. Now, there's two other main differences in this cleat versus the other colorway that I was showing you, that black color, which is most of the other cleats in the line for 150. For 160, what you get are new laces. Now, these laces are round, where the old laces are more flat. The round laces are actually staying in a little bit tighter in each of the eyelets. Now, what's that going to do is it's going to lock in the laces, so when you're tying the cleats are actually going to stay tied. It's not going to have slippage when you're tying that knot. So you are going to get a little bit better of a lockdown simply because the laces are a little thicker through the eyelets. Now that's something that you can swap out the laces, which I'd recommend doing on the Vapors anyway, because the laces are a little bit long, and I did talk about that. So these laces are the same length. They still feel a little bit long, but you do have a lot more lock-in just because they're thicker, rounder, going through those eyelets. The tongue on the older Vapors, if you saw my video, that original colorway from a year ago, that tongue is big and it's long and it gets in the way of your ankle. It feels a little bit uncomfortable. What I liked about the Vapor Carbon 2014s, and I'll see if I can flash an image of that cleat up, is that had an internal booty and a sock liner. It did not have this separate tongue. This separate tongue not only makes the silhouette look a little chunkier, not as streamlined, not as smooth, not as fast, it also provides a weird fit, right, when you actually tie this up. You can see how high this tongue sits on my ankle when I tie it up. Now this tongue seems to be a little bit lower, a little bit less intrusive than the other colorways of this cleat, but it's still something that I wish they moved to an internal booty. This tongue actually happens to be a little bit thinner. It's still very thickly padded. The padding seems to be more uniform, but it's not as thick as what you're gonna find in the black colorway. So let's see if I can show you this comparison. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, like the thickness of this and how, you know, wide this tongue is. But if I compare it to this, even though it does have the same width, it doesn't feel as thick, and so it does feel a little bit less intrusive. Other than that, they both have the same incredible plate at the bottom. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the new Vapor Edge plate of this cleat. Again, it's one of the fastest in the game. So there you have it. Those are the differences. I'm not sure. I think, you know, if I didn't already have this cleat, this would be my go-to. It's something that I just love, just how this shines, how it's gonna look at night. This is a little bit more of a classic look, which again, nothing wrong with that. That's my take on the new lime green Vapor Edge 360 VC cleats. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have them. Let me know if you found some of the same similarities or differences. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.